The story begins with a husband and wife who notice their neighbors rushing out of their homes in panic. Confused, they step outside and find people running around like the world is about to end. Jason had no idea what was happening, but just to be safe, he decided to take his family and leave the city. But on the way, they noticed something strange. The same neighbors who had fled were now returning home. Everything felt confusing and suspicious. Jason's family grew anxious, and soon they were stuck in traffic. Then came the shocking news. The only road out of the city had been shut down by the military. A helicopter hovered overhead, repeatedly announcing that a sudden infection had spread through the city. All residents were ordered to return to their homes immediately. Jason realized the horrifying truth. They had been completely isolated. Just then, a meteor-like rock fell from the sky, and dust exploded everywhere. 2 fighter jets roared past, heading straight toward their town. Everyone froze in shock as the jets suddenly began dropping bombs. Jason's wife, Beth, immediately understood. If they had obeyed the military and gone home, they would have died. But before she could think further, the jets turned around and started bombing the roads filled with fleeing civilians. Everyone now understood. The military was trying to kill them all. Beth spotted a school on a hill and pulled her family toward it. The planes began their second round of bombing. Luckily, the family ran fast enough to escape the blast wave. They reached the school, pounded on the bunker door, and the moment it closed behind them, a massive explosion shook the ground above. What kind of virus could force the army to take such extreme measures? Jason's family had no idea, but they made the bunker their shelter. Fortunately, there was a large supply of expired canned food, enough for 3 people for a long time. Beth looked worried. While closing the bunker door earlier, her palm had gotten cut. She feared she might have been infected, but there was no time to think about that now. Jason locked the door with heavy chains and prepared for a long stay underground. Life beneath the earth was far from easy. The same canned food every day, and muddy water from an underground well to drink. To pass time, they played cards and hide and seek. Completely cut off from the world, it felt like the end of humanity. Their daughter was the first to struggle. "Papa, how long will we stay here?" she asked. Jason had no answer. He simply said, "When the virus disappears and life begins again, we'll go out." Little did they know that this wait would stretch to 300 days. The girl often peeked through the ventilation duct using a reflective mirror her mother had made. But every time she looked, she saw the same burned, ashes-covered world. No signs of life anywhere. She started believing they might be the last living humans. Beth comforted her. "Maybe your friends are hiding somewhere too." One day, the girl found an empty tin can with a small hole in the back. Something had chewed through and stolen the food. Beth checked all the cans. 12 cans were empty. 2 weeks of food gone. Worried, Beth assumed a rat had entered through the duct. To calm his daughter, Jason said, "Don't worry. If food runs out, I'll go up and get some." That night, while the girl was playing with blocks, they heard a small noise. A rat was back, trying to steal a can. Enraged, Jason grabbed a knife to kill it. But the rat was too fast. It nearly escaped when suddenly Beth lunged forward and grabbed it. But before they could celebrate, a strong pepper-like smell filled the bunker. The rat had knocked over an oil lamp, which had now caught fire. Jason rushed to put it out but burned his hand. The temperature rose, and finally the lamp burst, spilling kerosene and causing a massive flare-up. Beth tore a curtain to smother the flames. Jason used half a bucket of well water. After a struggle, they managed to stop the fire. When they looked for their daughter under the bed, she was staring into the mirror, watching smoke escape through the duct. Their hidden location could now be exposed. Jason tried to reassure them that nighttime might hide the smoke. They stayed awake all night in fear. By morning, Jason saw that thick soot had gathered on the mirror, meaning smoke had escaped, but also left a mark outside. Their hiding spot was compromised. Jason and Beth decided to go out and clean it. They unchained the door carefully, listened for danger, and stepped out. Their daughter stayed inside alone. After waiting anxiously, she climbed on a stool and peeked out. She saw her parents trying to camouflage the bunker door. But suddenly, a dark shadow slid quickly across the forest. She screamed for her father to look behind him, but the distance was too great. They didn't hear her. Panicked, she ran up the ladder and exited the bunker. Outside, she realized her parents were no longer there. Shouting desperately, she looked around until 2 hands suddenly grabbed her. It was her parents hiding nearby. Before they could speak, a herd of wild deer ran past, nearly trampling them. Beth grew more uneasy. Animals run only when escaping a bigger danger. Fear rising, they ran back into the bunker. Jason barricaded the door with wooden planks and chains. Then he gestured for silence and listened carefully. There were footsteps above, slow, heavy, deliberate. Someone, or something, was searching for them. The little girl burst into tears. Beth hushed her, terrified that any sound would doom them. Jason tried everything to distract the girl until she finally calmed. Beth kept staring at the ventilation duct, growing more restless. Suddenly, a loud thud shook the bunker, followed by powerful footsteps. Jason tracked the sounds. They stopped right above their bunker door. Sweat rolled down his forehead. What they feared had arrived. Something was trying to force the metal lid open despite the chains. It knew they were inside. Violent blows shook the bunker. The metal beams were breaking. The door wouldn't hold much longer. Beth climbed the ladder and tried to use her weight to keep it shut, but the lid still began to lift. A pair of glowing green eyes stared inside. Their daughter screamed. At that moment, Jason broke a metal pipe and wedged it into the door's frame. The pressure eased. Together they managed to seal the bunker again. The footsteps faded away, but Jason was trembling. Outside the burnt world, there weren't just ruthless soldiers. There were monsters. Before they could recover, the storage cabinet shook violently, and footsteps thundered above, like thousands of creatures running overhead. Then they all gathered at the bunker door and launched a massive attack. This time, the force was overwhelming. The strong metal door cracked open, revealing countless glowing eyes in the darkness. Jason's family backed away in terror, but the creatures kept advancing. Jason threw the oil lamp and pushed a heavy cabinet against the door. It wouldn't hold for long. Suddenly, the girl spotted another ventilation duct leading downward. Jason broke it open and pushed his wife and daughter through. But when he tried to follow, he got stuck. The monsters were breaking in. In desperation, Jason twisted his own arm until it broke to free himself. Beth pulled him with all her strength. He was almost out when a massive clawed foot stepped through the flames, grabbed him, and dragged him back into the bunker. Jason shouted, "Take care of her!" And then he disappeared inside. Beth fled with her daughter through the tunnel, hearing Jason struggle behind them. She knew he was buying them time. Reaching the exit, they found a tall wall blocking the way. A helicopter appeared overhead, and its spotlight exposed them. A giant net dropped, trapping both mother and daughter. Through the mesh, Beth saw figures with glowing green eyes approaching. But as they came closer, she realized it wasn't monsters. It was soldiers in protective suits. A soldier pulled out a huge syringe and injected both of them in the neck. Dark blood dripped out. "They're infected," he declared. The soldiers aimed their weapons, preparing to kill them both. The virus had spread quickly when it first emerged. Many residents of the town were already infected without knowing it. The military believed the only way to stop it was to exterminate the infected. Seeing even her young daughter marked for death, Beth's rage exploded. Dark veins spread across her face. She was transforming. But before she could retaliate, a soldier's throat burst open. Jason had returned from the brink of death. His eyes glowed red, and his strength was superhuman. He had fully transformed, but he couldn't withstand gunfire for long. Bullets tore through him, and he collapsed, gasping. In the chaos, Beth and her daughter escaped the net and ran. Soldiers scattered, trying to catch them, not realizing Beth was now in her monstrous form. She killed several soldiers before bullets struck her, knocking her onto a car roof. Hidden in the darkness, the daughter witnessed everything. Seeing both parents dying, her anger boiled over, and she transformed too. In one leap, she crashed onto a soldier, ready to kill him. But Beth stopped her just in time. She didn't want her daughter turning into a monster. Slowly, the girl calmed down and turned human again. But the soldier she had attacked wasn't so lucky. His shield was broken, and he slowly became infected. Jason wasn't going to survive. He looked at his daughter with a familiar, gentle smile, and closed his eyes forever. Another helicopter arrived. Beth grabbed her daughter and ran. They hid among piles of junk and found a secret tunnel. A flashlight shone on them. It was the neighborhood boy. He led them to an underground shelter filled with familiar faces. Many survivors were hiding there, living like rats in darkness. Jason's family spent their days running from monsters. But in reality, they themselves were monsters in the eyes of ordinary humans. If you listen to their conversations, you'll realize they already knew they were infected. They also knew that anger triggered their transformation. That's why they kept telling their daughter, "Don't get angry." And that's where today's story ends. If you enjoyed it, stay connected. We'll meet again next time.